Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and these are my 10 favorite moments in film from 2017. Personally, I think 2017 was a great year for film. There are so many movies that I adored, and then in other movies that maybe I was disappointed in or I didn't love so much, there were still great sequences. There were wonderful moments, even in those movies I didn't love per se. So this is my personal ranking of moments or scenes or sequences that spoke to me, that stuck out to me all the way through the year, and are the ones that have just defined cinema in my brain when it comes to single shots, single sequences, or single scenes. So spoiler alert, since I will be discussing specific scenes or specific sequences within films, revelations may be contained in those sequences. Some of these are endings to films, so you have been warned. But without further ado, let's jump right in with number 10. So in 10th place, I placed the casino fight scene from Blade Runner 2049. This movie is so gorgeous and so awesome that it feels as if I could have put any number of scenes in this film. Blade Runner 2049 was almost one of those movies that everything was so beautiful that almost nothing stood out. But this casino fight was really inventive, really unique, and an amazing part of an amazing film. Obviously, adding that tension, adding that almost thriller aspect to the film of Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford kind of stalking and evading each other as they work through this casino. They flip on that switch, and you have these performances from holographic Elvis, things kind of like keep coming up and going down. You have these holographs popping up at random places. The sound was shoddy and old, so it also went in and out. It was so good. It was literally just an amazing moment in film this year, and one of the most inventive. At number 9, I have The Shape of Water's begging scene. This is the scene where Sally Hawkins' character is trying to convince her neighbor to help her save the aquatic creature before they kill it. We've seen glimpses of this from the trailers, and it is just so dang powerful. You are able to fully relate with her character in this moment. At least I was fully able to relate with her character, because this film does speak so hard to those people who feel like outsiders to mainstream society. This speech kind of perfectly encapsulates what the movie is about. Of course, with that amazing, poignant line about, he doesn't see me as incomplete, he just sees me for who I am. Ugh, it's beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was amazingly acted from both sides. I loved it. And it did beat out several other fantastic sequences, including the old school dance scene with Sally Hawkins and the aqua male creature. There are so many great scenes here, but this one had the beauty, it had the message, and it had the emotions. It had it all. At number 8, I have the ending to Coco. In particular, the moment when Miguel comes back from the land of the dead and talks to his grandma Coco again and finds the picture and sings Remember Me to her. Oh, and then you see the family and their reaction, and everything just comes to head there. That is the moment in which all of these emotions we had been building and we had been earning with the script and with the beauty of this movie throughout come to fruition. And it is just a magical, devastatingly gorgeous moment. At number 7, I have the stairwell fight from Atomic Blonde. Personally, I say Atomic Blonde has the best action sequences of any film for 2017. There are maybe 3 or 4 that could have been in this slot, but that stairwell fight scene is amazing in this movie. No matter what you think about Atomic Blonde as a whole, it's undeniable what a fantastic, well choreographed, well shot, brutal, honest, awesome fight sequence this is. Just watching Charlize Theron kicking butt up and down stairs, seeing how she has to fight, seeing all the different tactics, and being challenged. It's not a walk in the park. This isn't old school James Bond where she's just like shooting him down the staircase. No, she's having to get real and get real inventive. It's exhilarating. It's beautiful. This is what action should look like all of the time. At number 6, I have the execution scene from Detroit. This one is almost a cheat because I pretty much can say the entire second act of Detroit is number 6. This was so tension-filled. It had me on the edge of my seat. From the moment they walk into Algiers and line those boys up all the way through to the end of this whole execution interrogation is spectacular filmmaking from Catherine Bigelow. It is emotional. It is 100% tense and horrifying and scary and thrilling. It brings you to a complete halt and takes your breath away. It's magical in the horror that it evokes. It is one of the most impactful things I saw put to screen in 2017. It really almost like traumatized me. It was so horrifying, but also so good. At number 5, I put the cop car scene from Get Out. So this is the scene at the very end of the film. Our protagonist has finally gotten away. He has pinned down that crazy white woman and has kind of gotten to the point of, I can't do it. I can't choke her out and I can't kill her. And then a cop car pulls up to the scene. And my entire theater, with me right there with them, groaned. And you see her face light up as she's being choked. She like reaches out and calls for help. Just knowing any cop in this area, or any cop in the US, let's be honest, or most all cops here in the United States, let's be honest, are going to 100% believe the poor innocent white woman and not the crazy black violent man. But instantly, after groaning and just like bemoaning the situation, it turns out to be his best friend. The TSA is in the house, and me, along with the whole theater, cheered. Like audibly, we're so pumped and so excited with that moment. And it was just another case of Get Out being so intelligent and being so well written with the different metaphors and the exact parallels to our actual society, while being so entertaining and sending us on this awesome emotional roller coaster. It was great. At number 4, I have the ending of Logan. Talk about heartbreak. This entire ending of Logan, after the fight through the woods with all these little mutants, and we've rid ourselves of the Logan clone, and you have X-23 holding Logan's hand and saying goodbye to her father. Oh, devastating. Because as she's saying goodbye to her father, we are saying goodbye to our beloved hero. And then the beautiful, like, ceremony. We had the little kid holding that Wolverine figure in his hand. And then when she turned that cross down into an X over his grave, I was done. I was like, this is it. This is maybe the most emotional thing I'm going to see all year. I'm done. I can't handle this. But it was just so well done. It was taken with such care to say goodbye to this beloved character in such an authentic and beautiful way. I loved it. I thought it was executed perfectly. At number 3, I have the fight sequence that takes place with Kylo Ren and Rey in Snoke's chamber from Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So what happens right before this definitely does not make the list when Snoke goes down himself, because it was so anticlimactic and just like, oh, really? But when they start fighting those guards together as Kylo Ren and Rey, awesome. I mean, this was one of the best choreographed fights, I think, in Star Wars history. It was amazing. For one, these guards were badass, like way cooler than I ever imagined they would be. And seeing Rey and Kylo Ren fighting together was so cool. And then not really knowing, where really are we going to go after this? Because it had to be in the back of your mind. It was just awesome to be in that moment while it happened. The fight scene was so well choreographed. It was beautifully shot. The visuals on screen were amazing. So at number 2, the runner-up spot, I have the ending of Call Me By Your Name. This shot has been imprinted in my brain forever. I cannot stop thinking about this movie. I'm like borderline obsessed with it right now as I just make my way through ordinary life. And a big part of that was this ending scene was so impactful that it left such an impression. Elio gets off the phone after hearing the most devastating news I think he thought he could ever hear. And he sits down in his wonderful fashion. I just want to say that his outfit, A+. But he sits down in front of that fire, just cries. Not a dramatic cry. A real, authentic, beautifully shot, wonderfully framed, beautifully lit scene where so much is conveyed on Timothy Chalamet's face. It broke my heart. It just like reached into my chest and squeezed my heart dry of anything it had left. Add to that the wonderful song that beautifully accompanies it. Visions of Gideon. It's just amazing. Like it all just was perfect. I don't know that there's a more perfect shot than that. So before I unveil my number 1 choice for favorite movie moment of 2017, here are some honorable mentions. If I had allowed myself to include more than one moment per film, these first 2 honorable mentions definitely would have been on the list. The first is Luke Skywalker coming out to confront Kylo Ren and everything that ensued in that sequence at the end. With Kylo wanting revenge and wanting to just shoot him down, to having him just like come out of that red smoke like, what's next? And then the whole lightsaber battle with them two, and then the end revelation that really gets Kylo Ren's go. Perfect. It was awesome. And then I also have that monologue from Michael Stolberg from Call Me By Your Name. Have more beautiful words ever been said? Has there been a better speech from parent to child in a movie ever? Like a more heartfelt, real, beautiful, genuine exchange. It was just such an amazing, beautiful moment that was just behind the very end shot for me. I battled back and forth, and it had to get some sort of mention here as well. I loved the bullfighting sequence within Ferdinand. I had grown so attached to this big old bull that by the time we actually were witnessing him being ushered into the bull ring, it was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And then seeing him handling the situation was beautiful. Of course, his family, the other bulls, all like seeing what was happening. And then the rose being thrown out there and his beautiful reaction. And the whole audience, their reaction to him and loving him. It was amazing. I didn't love Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and actually, I kind of regard it as my most disappointing film of the year, but that doesn't negate that the opening scene from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is amazing. We have this awesome fight scene with this big old monster happening, with all of the full-size characters of our group here, while Baby Groot hits the play button and is like dancing around, having fun. And the cute little interactions he has with the different people. It is so well shot. It's beautiful. It's funny. It's awesome. And my final honorable mention goes to Rewrite the Stars from The Greatest Showman. I actually could have picked several different musical numbers from The Greatest Showman because I think all of the musical numbers were done really, really well. But this one is so beautiful. I think that Zendaya and Zac Efron had cultivated a nice chemistry. They both sound great in their singing. And then the trapeze and ribbon work, the choreography and the dancing, the lyrics to this song, all of it work perfectly. It was just gorgeous. And now for my number 1 pick, my favorite moment in film for 2017, we have No Man's Land from Wonder Woman. This scene came this close to moving me to tears, just from being inspired and in complete shock and awe as I watched it on the big screen. And I saw this film a total of 6 times in the movie theater, and it had that big, beautiful, emotional impact on me each and every time I watched it on the big screen. I was just completely overcome. And it starts beautifully because you get this monologue from Chris Pine about no man's land, that no man can cross this field. And right there, I think in the hands of a lot of directors and screenwriters, Wonder Woman would have said some quippy line about, well, I'm not a man, or some feminist type line like that. But instead, she very graciously turns, starts getting ready, and says, well, that's what I'm going to do. It's not a question. And this scene is aided so much from the build-up of her having to turn away too many times leading up to this big fight, of her following the man's lead, following these people's lead because this is their world, and she doesn't know. So she listens when they tell her, we can't do anything about it. We have to go on. We have to let people die for the overall greater good. So to see her say, no, no more, I have to do this. I cannot sit back and watch this any longer. This is too big, and I must do it. The score for this is so amazing. Like, phenomenal, inspiring, beautiful music playing alongside this beautifully shot scene. Diana emerging the first time as Wonder Woman, taking on that fire, heading into battle, and then inspiring all of her team, all of the men, to join her. It just is beautiful. It's almost hard to explain why this scene works so well and why it has such an impact on me. I have listened to No Man's Land on the soundtrack probably 1,000,001 times so far this year. I am obsessed with the film itself, but I'm also just obsessed with the scene because it hit me like nothing else could have hit me this year. I absolutely loved it. So those are my top 10 favorite movie moments in film 2017. What did you think of my list? Are any of these also some of your favorite moments in films from this past year? And what are other moments that really spoke to you, whether it was emotionally, whether it was through laughs, through comedy? What were the big moments that really shaped your 2017 cinema experience? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. Also, if you liked the video, make sure to click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. I love you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!